Yeah, to be honest, I got a new TV down here. I don't even have the MLB app on this TV yet. So, like, I got to get
Yeah.
that. So I don't even have the
Yeah.
game
Do you
on.
have T-Mobile? Because T-Mobile has they give you like free MLB.
Oh, really? No, I have Verizon. I have I have two MLB packages because so I don't get cut off by the maximum streams. I just don't have it downloaded on this new TV yet. So right after
Yeah.
these streams, I'll get it set up. What's up, everybody? Long time no see. For those of you that were with us this morning for the MLB opener show, this is going to be a quick one. We're just going to run the two NBA games. There's only two, and one of them is this one. We're looking at a 16-point line, and now DeJounte Murray listed as questionable. Let's see if this line's it might even be getting higher, or unless there was suspicion that he was going to sit and this number was already cooked into the. Now, I'm still seeing 16 and a half, so we'll see.
At one point, he was 17 and a half.
It was.
Yeah.
This morning, around 9 a.m. Eastern time, it was 7, and I saw 17 and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, NBA's tough right now. Even last night, oh my God, like this is how you know things are rough, because obviously the last couple weeks have not been great for me. Last night, I lost the Nets team total under 114 and a half. It was 112 at the end of regulation, lost in overtime. Then I lost the Raptors team total under 99 and a half on a basket with seconds remaining. Like, bro, last night I was 2-3 in my 5 bets, and it could have easily been 4-1. It's just, dude, when it rains, it pours. Like, even when I feel like I made the right picks, I'm still getting screwed here. Whatever. It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Just 2 games tonight. I do have bets on both of them, though. That being said, first one up is Boston on the road in Atlanta. You guys want to go first? I have a bet on this game if you want me to go first. I'm not crazy about it.
I'll start just because I'm curious your guys' thoughts. I know that Celtics spread, or I know we talked about it before the show, but Celtics first half spread has been a moneymaker all year. At 9.5, do you guys still? I know, Kyle, you don't do a ton of first half, so more so you capper. Is that still worth a play at 9.5, or is that too much?
I think it's still a play. I actually took it at 9.5. For the most part, I mean, if you want to like a great break, I mean, their first half, the Celtics. All right, so look at their numbers in the first half, just in general, like no other parameters, just in general. 53, 18, and 1 against the spread in the first half. But if you like put all these other pieces together, like the Hawks on the back-to-back, you have the Celtics in revenge mode. The Hawks are also in a fatigue spot. 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6. I feel like they already won because they won that game on Monday, right? Like, why are they really going to focus in on this game? They got what they wanted out of it. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that this is going to be a situation where the Celtics really want to get they want their lick back. They want their lick back, and they're going to get it early and often, in my opinion. If you look at some of the other pieces as far as trends on their side as well, a lot of things point to them winning by 18 plus, even at the end of the game. Even they actually covered a spread that was 19.5 earlier this season. So I'm not really scared of these big numbers, right? So here's one trend that I put up that I looked at. So Celtics 12-2 following a loss, right? 8-6 against the spread. But if you look at these spreads that are a lot larger, I looked at spreads that are 12 plus, including that 19.5. They covered all of those, and they covered by margin. The average full game margin in those games plus 28.8, right? So they always want to get that revenge. These Celtics always want to get the revenge, and it's a large margin in the first half too. And if you look at the Hawks side, 1-6 against the spread when they have disadvantage of at least 2 days. So if their opponent has more 2+ days of advantage on the rest angle, 1-6 ATS. If there's a dog in this situation, they're losing by an average margin of 19.3 points per game. Not covered a single one of those either. So a lot of things really just pointing towards the Celtics side. Obviously, maybe it's not an important game to them, right? They could easily win this game, but they lost to these guys. They want that revenge. So I ended up taking them in the first half. The crazy thing is this opened up at 12.5 on DraftKings yesterday. So we were able to grab that, and then it quickly steamed up to 15, and now obviously you saw 17.5 this morning, and then 16 now. So I mean, I don't know if you guys would take that number now, but at 12.5, it was an easy decision.
Yeah, at 12.5.
Oh, 12.5, yeah.
So All right, so it's hard to argue with some of the data you just gave there. I mean, average winning margin of 28.3 is some serious shit. It's really hard to combat that. But I disagree with you on one thing you said. So what you were saying about the Celtics in a revenge spot, how they want that lick back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I think everyone's off on that one. If we're going to try to paint a picture that the Hawks don't really need this game, but the Celtics do, I'm not seeing that. The Celtics have the 1 seed clinched. I don't think they're stressing over a meaningless loss when they were injured. I don't know if the Celtics are necessarily like, we need to go get these. I mean, they clinched the 1 seed. They were hurt in the game. I mean, were they expecting to finish the season 35-0? If they're really that upset about it, then I would say they're probably mentally unstable and not focused on the right things. This is a Hawks team that's sitting in the 10 spot of the Eastern Conference. For me, it comes down to, I mean, we're catching 16. I got 16 and a half is what I got it at. Also, I bet this before DeJounte Murray listed as questionable, so maybe I get screwed here. But I'm catching 16 and a half points at home with a team that's actually playing decent. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Hawks are great, but they've won 3 games in a row, all at home. They haven't had to travel. The Hawks look all right. Now, Celtics obviously much better. Could they win and blow the doors off them? Of course. But one thing I will say about the Celtics, not only are they playing completely meaningless basketball because they've clinched the 1 seed, and we saw them blow the lead against the Hawks. We saw what meaningless basketball looks like with Boston. But I want to bring up something else, and I want you guys to look at this. So where's my documents? Let's see. Which one is it? Here we go. This is Boston's schedule since February 4th. How many playoff teams are on here? Memphis, Atlanta, Washington. Then you got Miami. Okay. Brooklyn, Chicago, and New York. That's solid. Philadelphia. Then you got Dallas, Golden State. Okay. Cleveland. Okay. Denver. Okay. Look at this. Suns, Blazers, Jazz, Suns, Wizards, Pistons, Bucks, Pistons, Bulls, Hawks. They played the easiest schedule on planet Earth. I mean, how many games are here? 25, and you see, 6 against playoff teams? That's wild. So I think the Celtics as a whole, everyone has them painted out to be this invincible team. And they are. I mean, it's probably hard to make an argument against them being the best team in the league right now. I think you'd have to say it. But I think they might be slightly overvalued. We're talking about laying 17 points on the road. And by the way, 2 of those games on here were against the Hawks. 1 at home at Boston. Didn't cover. Only won by 8. Last one, obviously, they lost. So now we're just going to take them to win by damn near 20 points on the road because of some made-up revenge that I'm not convinced even exists. I don't think so. Maybe I get screwed here, but I'm on the Hawks. What do you mean Atlanta far from a playoff team, bottom feeders? They're literally in a play-in spot. I'm not saying they could potentially get into one. They're in one right now. They're in the play.
Does that count? Being a 10 seed, does that count as being a playoff team?
No, but if you're making it the play-in, you're certainly in playoff contention. You're literally in the tournament to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, you're in playoff contention. I don't know if I would use that as a playoff team.
He said Atlanta far from a playoff team. I mean, is it that insane to think Atlanta can't beat the Bulls? The Bulls look terrible. Yeah. Or the Sixers right now. Like,
hey, Embiid's back. Just kidding.
We don't know that. They posted an Instagram post. Stop it. All right,
that's all I have to hang my hat on. Anyways. All right, for this one, I took Jaylen Brown first quarter points over 5.5. I got it at -115. I believe you can get it at -120 as of right now. I would still take it there. The 5.5 number is key because it's 2 3-pointers or it's 3 buckets, whatever. I wouldn't necessarily take it over 6.5 if that's all you can get. This is a market that I admittedly haven't this is the first time I've given it out as a first quarter prop. Actually, it did go back down to -115 anyways. But anecdotally, I always knew that Jaylen Brown started hot. Like, I remember that this is a long time ago, but in the finals against the Warriors, it felt like every game he had 15 points by the end of the first quarter, and then he would slow down from there. So I looked it up, and that is actually analytically true. Like, he does generally start hot. He's gotten over 5.5 in 7 of his last 10 games. In the 3 games he missed, he had exactly 5. On the season, he's done it in 36 of 64, so he's over the 50% hit rate. And if you date back to last year, he's done it in 79 of 151. So it's not like he's automatic, but more often than not, he does go over the 5.5 point number. And I like the matchup. Like I put a half unit on this when these two teams played on Tuesday because I like the spot and I didn't want to just overdo a first quarter market. And then he scored 13 points. And I still like the matchup, obviously, again, against the Hawks. If anything, maybe the added motivation is just a first half thing again, like it was last time. Mm-hmm. But as long as he plays like 9 minutes, which is what he's played every first quarter except one in the past 10 games, I'm pretty confident that he'll get us to the 6 points. It's like him and Jason Tatum basically just switch spots. Like Jaylen Brown's hot at the beginning of the game. Jason Tatum's generally hot in the second half. So it's a tough market because it's so variable with only one quarter, but I kind of like the spot for Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown over first quarter points. Interesting. Community's leaning towards Boston here. Looks like 51%, 35% in favor of the Celtics. So community is buying into that revenge shit that I think is fake.
It's not even just revenge though, Kyle. Like it's every single piece. Like think about the last game on Monday. Are the Hawks a really good 3-point shooting team?
No.
Because they shot 50% from 3 on Monday. 18 out of 36. That shit's not happening again.
I don't know. Like, Boston's been getting lit up from out there, man. Let's check this out. Boston defensively, 26th in the last 5 games against a 3-point shot, 24th in the last 10 against the weakest schedule in the NBA. Boston's not playing, man. We'll see.
I don't know.
Hawks outright.
Nah. Well, I got 12.5 on the full game and 9.5 on the first half. So
you're holding value regardless of what happens.
I couldn't get the first half yesterday. They don't have it available.
All right. Next game. Milwaukee on the road in New Orleans. Bucks are laying a point on the road here, and this was a pretty easy handicap for me. And when I say easy, I don't mean the pick's definitely going to hit. I just meant my decision was pretty easy. Let me just clarify that now before people start betting irresponsibly. I think Bucks have to be the play here. These two teams. All right, so hold on. Let me get my pick up on the board. Obviously, the Pelicans have been playing great. This is not taken away. This is not a fade of the Pelicans. I got it at minus. No, actually, I bet the Bucks money line at minus 115. I got it on DraftKings about an hour and a half ago. So that's what I actually bet. So it's just the way these two teams are built, I think favors the Bucks on both sides of the court. First of all, the Bucks have played a much stronger schedule than New Orleans. In the last 10 games, the Bucks are first in strength of schedule, second in strength of schedule in the last 5 games. So we got a Bucks team that's playing playing pretty well against one of the strongest schedules in the NBA. Meanwhile, the Pelicans are playing pretty well against the 18th, 17th, 16th strongest schedule in the NBA. So right off the bat, Bucks have played a stronger schedule. Usually that points to maybe slightly undervalued, but that's not a reason for the bet. Let's start with the Bucks offense here. This is pretty simple for me. What has the Bucks offense been doing this season? All jump shots. This team completely relies on jump shots. They never attack the rim. Giannis is the only player on the Bucks roster that will be caught dead inside the paint. None of the other Bucks attack the rim. We're talking about in the last 10 games, they're 27th in shot frequency at the basket. The reason I bring that up, the strength of this Pelicans defense is on the interior, and where the Pelicans have had problems is defending the 3-point shot. Now, their efficiency numbers against the 3 look pretty good in the last 10 games. They're actually 4th, but they're dead last in frequency. They're giving up a lot of looks out there, and these Bucks shooters are knocking their shots down. I mean, top 5, top 10 in 3-point efficiency. So you're going to give the Bucks a lot of looks from outside with hot shooters. So I think the outside shot's going to be there for the Bucks. And then on the other side of the court, the Bucks defense has been pretty easy to handicap this year. They do a real good job on the interior protecting the basket. Brook Lopez, Giannis, Bobby Portis, they can protect the rim. They have no wing defenders and no perimeter defenders. Sorry. The reason that's significant in this matchup, Pelicans offense is relying on scoring on the inside, especially without Brandon Ingram on the floor. That's even less shooting. I'm not saying the Pelicans have no shooting, but they're certainly not an outside shooting team that scares you. So I like the matchup for the Bucks on both sides of the floor. I really do like this Pelicans team, and it's kind of crazy to picture me laying points on the road with them, but it's practically a pick 'em. This Bucks team, I think this is the matchup for them. I think they win this one.
Real quick, someone said in the chat, I'm Prop Beaver's cooler older brother. I had to play on this one too, and you know what, Kyle, it doesn't even like go against each other because I think there's a situation where the Pelicans can cover the first half but the Bucks end up winning this game. All right. One of the things that I looked at here is the Pelicans off of a loss. This is one thing that they've done really well. Actually, if you look at them from a spread perspective on the first half, they're one of the better first half teams in the league, 22-11-1 in the first half, especially when they're at home. That's their ATS at home. The Bucks on the road, they tend to struggle in the first half, but kind of turn it up in the second half. And that's the reason why I stayed away from the full game. In the first half on the road, the Bucks are 9-23-2 against the spread. And a lot of those games are actually losing by a few points. And one thing that I was looking at, I didn't end up taking this, but I was actually looking at the Pelicans team total over the Bucks. Obviously they're coming out that double OT game. The Bucks after an OT game, they gave up 127.3 points per game. It's a really small sample size, but every one of those teams, I think it's like 4 games. Every one of those opponents actually scored 121 plus. Obviously the team total in this one's pretty short, but I wanted to just stick to one play, which was the first half. The other piece too, I know you mentioned some of their defense, but opponents are actually 8-2 to their team total over against the Bucks in the last 10 games. Obviously, the one against the Lakers kind of doesn't count because they were under in regulation.
That definitely doesn't count.
Yeah. The other piece is the first game on the road following a 3-game homestand, right? This is a situation the Bucks are in today. I noticed that they don't travel well from home to road. One of the things that I looked at was their ATS, and their ATS wasn't that great. I mean, still slightly profitable, but it was their opponent team total that I was looking at on that one. Opponents are 11-3 to their team total over when the Bucks are traveling from home to road for that first game on the road. So those things really pointed me in that direction, but I really focused on the first half instead, just because late in the season, all these, obviously the ranking implications and all that shit for the playoffs, I want to kind of avoid that.
Okay, so Pelicans first half. Pelicans have been a good first half team this year. But something I want to say, you did bring up Pelicans coming off a loss. I think we could say the same thing for the Bucks, and maybe the data doesn't line up with it, but the way the Bucks came out in that second half against the Lakers, they were embarrassed at the end of that game, blowing that lead. They came out with no effort in the second half. They thought they had that shit won. They were up like 16, 18 points. No LeBron James. Game over. They won. Lakers came all the way back and beat them, and I feel like that was a little bit of a rock bottom for the Bucks. Like I had the Bucks in that game, and I watched it, and they were taken back by that loss. So I also think there's a little bit of a bounce back for Milwaukee as well as New Orleans. New Orleans, who, man, the defense had been playing so well up until that Oklahoma City game. What happened to the Pelicans defense in that game? I had the under in that game. What the hell? Where was the defense? What the man? All right, Modi, what do you think?
Sure. Yeah, so I got 2 plays in this one, and they also have ladder plays attached to them, so it's going to be a little bit. I'll try to keep it brief. But my first one is CJ McCollum. So I got him over 21.5 points. When I sent the graphics over to, well, not the graphics, the play over to PropBeaver, it was still at 21.5 at a pretty good number. Now that's at -127. I probably at this point, people tailing right now would take over 22.5. which is at -104 at FanDuel. I think that's the better price than at -127 personally. Anyways, but I also like his 3-pointers. I put a half unit on him to make 5+ 3-pointers at +230. I think that's a good play as well. Honestly, I like both his points and his 3-pointers, so I kind of wanted some skin in the game on both. Skin in the game. It's all about how the Bucks play defense. It's like the drop coverage with Brook Lopez, and there was no changing that defensive strategy for Doc Rivers. That's all he does is the drop coverage with Brook Lopez or whoever plays center. Even if it's Bobby Portis or Giannis, they don't have him play up on the pick and roll. So on the entire season, they're allowing the second most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers in the NBA on the entire season. If you look at the last 10 games, they're allowing the most pull-up jump, or the second most pull-up jump shots just overall, but the most pull-up three-point, both made three-pointers and attempted pull-ups in the NBA. And that's what CJ leads the Pelicans. In the past 10 games, he takes both the most pull-up jumpers and the most three-pointers as well. With Brandon Ingram out, he leads the team in points as the main pick-and-roll ball handler. And he's generally played pretty well without Brandon Ingram. Like, he's gone over the 21.5 number that I got it at in 6 of 8 games this year without Brandon Ingram. One game that he missed He only played less than 15 minutes against the Heat. I forgot to look into exactly if that was a blowout or if he got hurt or whatever. But he played less than 15 minutes. So if you take that game out, he averages over 26 points per game in 7 games this year without Brandon Ingram. And even if you include that game, it's still well above the number that we're taking him at. Overall, he scores 5 more points per 36 without Brandon Ingram. So I love the spot for CJ McCollum. He's played well without Brandon Ingram. That's my first one. And then my second play is Brook Lopez over 1.5 made 3-pointers. So I got it at -115. You can get it at -110 now. So you can get it even at a better price than what I got it at. And this is a spot that you mentioned about the Pelicans giving up a ton of 3-pointers. I looked into it. Basically, if they don't respect the player as a jump shooter, they're just going to leave them wide open. They're going to trust their length on defense with Herb Jones. And they're just going to trust that if they don't think you're a good enough shooter, that you're not going to make enough shots. And it burned them with Josh Giddey, who made 5 3-pointers in that Thunder game. I think Jalen Williams had a bunch of 3-pointers as well. And it's exactly what they're going to do with Brook Lopez. Like, Valanciunas does not want to hang out in the perimeter with Brook Lopez. He wants to stay in the interior. And last time these two teams played, which was at the end of January, Brook Lopez shot 9 3-pointers and he made 6 of them. He takes the most wide open 3-pointers on the Bucks. And on the year and in the last 10 games, the Pelicans are giving up the most percent of 3-point shots that are wide open by NBA.com standards, which is within 6 feet of space. So this is another play that I laddered him up to make 3 as well. That's at +2. I got it at +240. It's at actually +260 now at DraftKings, so an even better price. But yeah, so 2 plays for this one. I actually did bet them myself and have a full unit on.
Okay, so Brook Lopez over, CJ McCollum over. Our community poll is definitely on Milwaukee. 58-37% in favor of the Bucks. All right. How about, so for the community parlay, we'll make it quick because I know, Ron, you have to go, you said. So it'll be Celtics -16.5. You guys voted for that. And you voted for Bucks money line. We'll do 2 quick polls with the total for each one. So we're going to put an under for each one. We'll do community parlay with all 4 aspects of the game. Real quick.
Hey, while they're voting, I looked up that angle that you were talking about, Kyle. The Bucks off of a loss with a lead. You know how they had a double-digit lead? So I looked at that specifically. Bucks off of a loss where they were leading by double digits. It's a fucking weird trend, but they're 0-4 straight up and against the spread.
Really?
It's weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but they actually lost outright to the Blazers. That's just crazy.
Yeah, just curious, does their head coach happen to have a history of blowing big leads
Just
individually?
Just out of sheer curiosity.
Yeah.
I mean, do we not know that already? Or?
All right, looks like votes coming in on the over here.
I love how the NBA had 12 games yesterday, and then just in 2 today.
Their schedule late in the season is kind of funky.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did that because of opening day.
Yo, Jay Fat in the comments, Square Picks have been cleaning up, man. I've been losing on the other side. You've been paying attention or not? So it looks like the over is going to hit. We got Celtics -16 and Celtics -16.5. Bucks money line, then Boston, Atlanta over 226.5, and then we'll do the total for the other one, which is
224.5.
Milwaukee, New Orleans over 224.5, under 224.5. Real quick, let's run this poll because I actually have the March Madness show starting in 6 minutes myself.
Oh man, busy day for you.
Yeah, we did the MLB show this morning, 3 shows today and 3 shows tomorrow, and I got 2 videos to get uploaded tonight. And I have my cousin's wedding at 5:30.
On a Thursday?
Yeah. What? Saving money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure people won't even care if I only show up for an hour and shake some hands. I mean, they know what I do for a living, and it's opening day, Sweet 16, and there's NBA.
Yeah, it's a tough day.
And it's an over for that one too. So the it's Celtics minus 16.5, Bucks money line, over in the Celtics, then over in the Pelicans.
Wow. Plus this is this right? Plus 1,188.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
All right, another home run swing for you, Capper. Celtics minus 16.5, Bucks money line, over and over plus 1188. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Everyone, have a good one. See you in 5 minutes for Sweet 16. Ronald, Modai, thanks for coming on. We'll get you back
guys.
soon.
Good luck today.
Later.
See ya.